Mode 1.
Now I'm going to try to do something that I haven't done in at least my last 10 video podcasts. And that is keep this video to 39 minutes or less. 39 minutes or less. Yeah, I went and checked today before I started recording this video. Yeah, my last 10 videos were all 40 minutes or longer. 40 range anywhere from 40 minutes to 59 minutes. 40 minutes to 59 plus minutes. So, yeah, my goal for the day. I really don't have that much to talk about, at least on the free portion, because half of this is just going to be giving a young brother a shout out that I've given a couple of shout outs before. And that's this young brother named Ramil Amir, who's, I want to say his mother grew up in my hometown of Gary, Indiana. Now, why am I giving him such a special shout out? And I think I either said this before or implied this before. But here's the thing I like about Ramil. It proves a point. One of the criticisms I've received over the last 2 to 3 years is ARC doesn't like anybody who disagrees with him. I've had a number of guys say that. ARC, he doesn't get along with or he doesn't like anybody who has an opinion or assessment of today's dating scene that's different from his. That's false. And among other people, there's probably a few people who would follow this category, but off the top of my head, Ramil Amir would be one of the number one people who falls in that category. Me and him don't really agree on anything, but yet we get along with each other. I was just on his live stream today for about 25 to 30 minutes. I gave him like a $10 super chat, and I don't agree with hardly anything he says. That's an interesting thing. So for anybody who says Alan doesn't get along with anybody who expresses opinions that are far different from his own, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Again, I did a video about respectful disagreements back in 2017 or 2018, one of the two. I did a video saying that you can have respectful disagreements with people. Yeah. And Ramil Amir is a prime example of that. The young brother, he's never called me out of my name, which is what causes me to give him respect. Like, I've had other guys who not only just disagree with things I say, but they had to express some kind of personal insult or call me out my name. Ramil Amir has never done that. He gives me my respect as a manosphere OG. He always gives me my respect as a manosphere OG. Matter of fact, he reiterated today. He said Alan Roger Currie was the first guy that I heard of discuss the difference between the appeal of a man and woman's sexual attention and companionship versus the appeal of a man and woman's non-sexual companionship. See, a lot of guys, particularly young guys, don't like to give me that credit and don't like to give me that respect. But Ramil always does. That's another reason, I have a lot of respect for the young brother. He never tries to disparage my profession, which is a dating coach. He never talks badly about dating coach or me individually being a dating coach. He always gives my respect, but we just have disagreements. Basically, our disagreement comes from the fact that, and this related to his discussion today, Ramil actually believes in pumping and dumping women. He believes that there's nothing really wrong. But here's what was interesting about his live stream today. And he did something I rarely see Indirect guys who are proponents of Indirect game do. Even though he encourages pump and dump, he encourages more. I have two versions of pump and dump. Mode 3 pump and dump and mode 2 pump and dump. Mode 3 pump and dump would be representative of, there's two types of lies. Most of you should know. If you don't, there's two types of lies that most people have talked about for years, decades. There's what's known as lies of commission and lies of omission. Lies of commission and lies of omission. What is a lie of commission? Lie of commission, in simple terms, means you're expressing false, misleading information to people. You're expressing information to people that's untrue, invalid, or misleading. That's lies of commission. For example, if I tell you I am a doctor, when I know damn well I am not a doctor, either a medical doctor or a PhD doctor, but I tell you, hey, my name is Dr. Alan Roger Currie. See, that would be a lie of commission. I'm blatantly lying to you. A lie of omission is when you don't express false information to people, but on the flip side, you withhold true information from people. That's a lie of omission. That's a lie of omission. So, for example, if I was married and I'm at a social function and I start flirting with this woman and I get to talking stuff to her and I talk her, persuade her into coming back to my place so we could have sex, but I never mentioned one time that I was married. Now, on the one hand, I never flat out tell her that I'm single. I never go as far as to say, hey, I'm a bachelor, I'm single. That would be a lie of commission. But at the same time, I never reveal to her before we have sex that I am indeed married. That would be a lie of omission. That's basically the difference between a mode 3 pump and dump and a mode 2 pump and dump. A mode 3 pump and dump is when you flat out lie to a woman. You tell a woman, I want to be in a long-term, emotionally profound, strictly monogamous relationship with you. That is what I want. Essentially, you let a woman know, I want to be your next long-term boyfriend. But then after you fuck her 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, you just dump her. That's a mode 3 pump and dump. A mode 2 pump and dump is when, on one hand, you don't specifically tell a woman that you're looking to be in a long-term, emotionally profound, monogamous relationship with her, but at the same time, you're not bold enough or courageous enough to let her know that all you want from her is casual sex. That's what Ramil is in favor of. He's in favor of mode 2 pump and dumps. And he did a live stream today that caught my eye. It was called The Downside of Indirect Pump and Dump Game. The Downside of Indirect Pump and Dump Game. And he went on to list 5 potential detriments of using indirect pump and dump game. Now, again, even though I totally disagree with the idea of men using indirect pump and dump game, I have to give Ramil props because at least he was willing to lay out the potential detriments of it. Again, I would say no less than 90% of conventional PUAs and indirect game gurus, they don't do that. They'll try to make you believe that there's really no major detriments to using indirect game with women as opposed to direct game. But Ramil, he laid it out. And two of them were things that I've always said. Two of them were things that I've always said, which is this. Number one of his 5 detriments of indirect pump and dump game was, he said, when you use indirect pump and dump game with women, you're likely to put yourself in a position where a woman can pump and dump you financially. He said, when you trying to pump and dump a woman sexually, you could put yourself in a position where a woman can pump and dump you financially. Who has always said that? Who has always said that? You looking at him. That's always been one of my detriments. That's always been one of the reasons why I've always discouraged. That's at least half the reason why I wrote my book, The Possibility of Sex. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's at least half the reason why I wrote my book, The Possibility of Sex, is to point out that detriment. Yeah. And so I was glad Ramil said that. Yeah, he said, I don't remember his exact words, but essentially he said one of the top 5 detriments of using indirect game, or what some would call pump and dump game, is that you can find yourself being played by a woman. Again, that's no less than 50% of the reason why I wrote my book, The Possibility of Sex, which is my most copycatted book of my 4 books, by the way. And I pointed that out on this live stream. Yeah, of my 4 books, that's the one book that people have tried to rip off material from the most, is The Possibility of Sex. But yeah, that's what I point out in that book. So that was one detriment. And then another detriment, one had to do, because I've always said, man, that the 2 biggest detriments of indirect game is, compared to direct game, is that you're going to typically invest more time in your pursuit of pussy than you will using direct game, and more money. That has always been my top 2 things. You're going to inevitably end up investing more time. And number 2, you're going to end up investing more money. And that's essentially what, again, the young brother Ramil said today. Because it's one of his other 5 detriments was, he said, when you use indirect pump and dump game, on the positive end, you might get, a certain percentage of pussy, but there's going to be a lot of times you're going to end up investing a significant amount of time pursuing women only to not get any pussy. Who said that? Who been saying that for literally 20 plus years? Who been saying that literally for 20 plus years? So, man, even though, again, I told him, me and him have a lot of what I call respectful disagreements with each other, but I was glad to hear him point out, I can't remember he had 3 other detriments of using indirect pump and dump game. I would have to go back and listen to the archive to remember the other 3, but I know those 2 stuck out with me. Yeah, one had to do with money, one had to do with time. And again, I've always said that. That's one reason why I personally don't like indirect game. That is arguably the biggest reason why I don't like indirect game, man. Because my attitude is, even if I do get some pussy from a woman, let's say I'm using indirect and I do get some pussy from a woman. If you're talking about casual sex, man, I don't feel like it's ever worth an investment, a significant investment of time or money, ever. Now, for a long-term relationship, yes, I do. Now, I've said that. If you meet a woman that within a week or so of meeting that woman, you've identified that woman as a potential long-term girlfriend or future wife, those women, I think it is worth it for you to invest an above average amount of time with them, and even in many cases, an above average amount of money. But when it comes to casual fuck buddies, women that you know you just want to fuck just to be fucking, dude, I honestly, sincerely, dude, I don't believe in investing. I don't even believe in investing one date on a woman for a fuck buddy. Not even, some people like, who believe in investing up to 3 dates worth of time and money to get a woman in bed. I don't even believe in investing one date, one dinner date or one lunch date for casual sex. Nope, don't. Do not. Do not. And I've been that way since I was probably like 22 years old. So you're talking about what, 35 years? I've been that way for the last 35 years, man. I don't believe in investing no significant amount of time and or money in pursuit of any woman for her to become my casual sex lover or fuck buddy. Fuck that. Ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Now again, a lot of indirect guys, they argue, well, man, and I think even Ramil to a certain extent made this argument before, that their number one argument against direct game is that, man, if you always use direct game, you're going to potentially leave pussy that you could have gotten on the table. You're going to potentially leave pussy that you could have gotten on the table. Now, I've already explained in like a half a dozen videos why I disagree with that assessment and why I don't believe that to be true. But I'll just say this. Let's say for the sake of argument that over the last 5 years, at least, I don't know, let's say 10% of the women that rejected me because I was mode 1 with them, I could have potentially fucked if I would have been willing to be mode 2, or even in some cases mode 3. I'll give you an example. The infamous hotel story that I just talked about a month or 2 ago. That was the last time that I was mode 2 with a woman, was the infamous hotel story that happened in May of 2007. Now that woman, the woman who invited me to her hotel room, if I had really, really wanted to, I could have decided to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks pretending like I wanted to be her boyfriend just to get the pussy. Because I knew for a fact she was attracted to me. And she made it clear that she only wanted to give pussy to a guy that was a boyfriend. So I could have spent 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks pretending like I wanted to be her boyfriend. But my thing is this. It wasn't worth it to me. It wasn't worth it to me. Even if the end result would have been I would have definitely ended up fucking her, it wasn't worth it to me. It's just like, why do we go to shop for any consumer good and look at the price tag? When you go to the grocery store, or when you go to a car dealership, or go to a clothing store, why do you look at the price tag? Why do you look at the price tag? To determine if what you want is worth the value that the company selling the goods and services you want is worth it. So when you go shop for a car and you look at the price of a certain car and see that it's, I don't know, $28,000, but you feel like that car is only worth $19,000, you're not going to buy that car. Because you're going to feel like it's $9,000 overpriced. See, I know the value of my time. I know the value of my money. There's some women, man, that's how I evaluate all women. Is me getting this woman in bed, how much time is it worth it to me to invest getting this woman in bed? How much money is it worth it to me to invest getting this woman in bed? And I make the decision from there. And like that woman who invited me to her hotel room in May of 2007, the last woman I was mode 2 with, 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks worth of my time was not worth it to fuck her. She wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth 2 dinner dates. It wasn't worth 3 lunch dates. Some women They just, again, specifically when you're talking about short-term non-monogamous casual sex, most of the women I met, man, that I wanted to fuck casually, they wasn't worth me spending a lot of money on them, taking them out to multiple dinner dates and or lunch dates, spending a lot of time talking to them on the phone. My basic attitude was, if I couldn't get the pussy from them just by letting them know confidently, upfront, and straightforwardly that I wanted to fuck them, then they weren't worth it. They weren't worth it to Alan Roger Currie. Now, they might be worth it to you, but for me, Alan Roger Currie, they weren't worth it. My time is valuable. My money is valuable. If I can't get pussy on a combination of my looks, my level of confidence and masculinity, and my degree of persuasive charm, and my smooth and seductive mouthpiece, then quite frankly, the pussy just ain't worth it. Get it, got it, good. This will be one of my shortest video podcasts ever.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.
I have to agree with you on the communication piece, because I actually did take a session with Alan Roger Currie, and he gave me a line that I did not think was going to work, and it worked. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
Man, he's the master. He's the master of the verbal seduction. He got that communication piece down pat.
It really worked. It just simply worked, and I just didn't think it was going to work at all.
Verbal seduction, man. I'm like, clearly, this guy's the Michael Jordan of seduction. Like, you know, come on now.